Saturday, January 7th, 2016. Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I like to talk about Bitcoin and also gold and silver. On Thursday, I made a video early in the day in London, and Bitcoin was flying high. It traded up above $1,150. I think the high was around 1,165 or so. And later that day, Bitcoin dropped below 1,000, and it's continued to drop down. So right now it's at 892 according to CoinDesk. So we are even below 900. So huge move in Bitcoin. The low was 816 today. So a lot of volatility. The reason that has been given is that the Chinese authorities are now saying they're gonna crack down on capital, fleeing China, even through virtual currencies, meaning Bitcoin. So people are concerned. This is not the first time this has happened. I think last year there was talk about the Chinese cracking down and Bitcoin came down. I'm going to talk a bit about what I think, holds for the future of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin price. I don't think anything has changed in terms of the, how good a cryptocurrency it is. On Thursday, I said, we're going up, but, quite a lot, but be careful. There should be a lot of volatility. I have to be honest, I didn't expect this much volatility. And I'm going to bring up a chart now. It's from Bitcoin Wisdom. And you can see the high in 2014 was pretty much around the high on Thursday, around 1175, 1160. So what we have here as a technical formation is a teacup. You can see there the top that we made last Thursday and the rounding, the round shape that we've made since 2014 in Bitcoin is formed a teacup. And a teacup formation like that is bullish longer term. And the actual name is the teacup and handle formation. The handle will be on the right hand side. So you'd expect a lot of consolidation, probably between 800 and 1100, and maybe it will last a few months and then eventually we'll break up above that 1,160, 1,175. And after that, we could see an even bigger move higher in Bitcoin. But for now, I expect some consolidation there, and it's going to form like a little teacup handle on the right hand side of the chart there. And it could be anywhere from 800 or even 780 to like 1,000 or 1,100. And the range will get smaller as time goes by, and eventually we should see the price resume higher. As you can see, though, the trend is still high. I think the market got a bit out of hand, a little bit frothy, and that's all we're seeing. I know the Chinese are threatening the capital controls, but I don't think that's going to make a huge difference in the longer term. So that's my view on Bitcoin. For gold and silver, I'll cover what we've done in the first week of the year, even though it was an abbreviated week. Monday was closed. I'll just go through the numbers. So gold in dollars closed yesterday at 1172.63. Year to date, we're up 2.19%. So it started the year well. We closed end of the year at a spot price around 1148. So doing fairly well. Silver closed yesterday at 1649, the spot price. Year to date already, it's up 3.5%, 3.54% actually. We closed at the end of the year 1593 roughly. So silver opened the year well. And I'm going to look at it in British pounds now. Gold XAU GBP closed last year at 929.50, basically the spot price, and yesterday we closed the spot price at 954.40, so up 2.68% year to date. Gold in sterling. Silver in sterling closed yesterday at 1341. It's up almost 4% year to date, up 3.98. It closed last year at 1289. So silver doing well in sterling. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, I heard on the radio today that the Sun newspaper, which is a tabloid, had a story about Kit Kat, which is the chocolate bar. It's 4 chocolate bars. I don't know if you guys have it in the States. In the UK, it's quite popular, Kit Kat. And Nestle, who makes Kit Kat, they've basically cut the size, the weight of the Kit Kat from 45 grams to around 41 grams, but they've kept the price the same. So more sign of shrinkflation. Basically, in my opinion, the reason they're doing that is because if companies start raising prices, their workers are going to say, if you're raising prices, how come my salary isn't going up or my wages aren't going up? So I think they're going to do as much shrinking of goods like, chocolate bars, sweets. They've done it with Toblerone, the gap between the little Toblerone pyramids. And it's widened. It's ridiculous what they've done to the Toblerone, and kept the same price as well. I noticed also they do now Coke cans that are thinner and longer. So they're 250 ml instead of 333, but they cost the same price. So shrinkflation is, exists. And one of the reasons I think is that, big corporations are probably pushed by, the powers that be, central banks, when they go to their Davos meeting, or their Bilderberg, they're told, let's try to keep, prices from showing that let's try to keep things from, prices, let's try to keep from showing, that prices are rising. So why don't you guys just try to, shrink your goods and keep the same price, which is not honest weights and measures, is it? I mean, it's what happened to the money, 100 years ago or so when they had World War One. Basically, you won't be able to do it to a Kit Kat though, because you won't be able to get a Kit Kat note, because people are going to say, can I have my chocolate, please? I want to eat my chocolate. But with money, it's different. With gold and silver, and the excuse of patriotism, and war, people said, well, we're gonna suspend, redemption of specie for the war, so we can defeat the Germans and the Huns, and then we'll come back. And they did. They reinstated the gold standard, I think, 1925 or 26 in the UK under Chancellor of the Exchequer Churchill, Winston Churchill. But they can, people have bought into it, because you can't really eat a sovereign, even though it is valuable, it has purchasing power. It's not like a Kit Kat, So back in 1914, for example, before they suspended the gold standard or redemption of specie, they didn't have a £5 note like this, but for all intents and purposes, a sovereign was a pound. So you could go to your bank or the Bank of England, say, I want 5 sovereigns, and you give the cashier the £5 note, because it says, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £5. So, and then they would give you 5 of these, 5 sovereigns, and that's it. But, war is always a good excuse. It's always a good crisis to, basically screw the people. And, they went back on the gold standard in 26, but then in 1931, they went off it again. And since then, we've been getting these, and, this now, with £5, you get a fraction of, let's see how many sovereigns you get now with £5. Let's do the calculation. 5 divided by 224. So you get 2% of that coin now, of one. With that note, you get 2% of this little coin. While in 1914, with a similar £5 note, you get 5 of these. So that's how much, they cheated the public for the last 100 years. And that's why the state schools, or as they call them in the UK, in the US they call them public schools, or even private schools, they don't teach, young people the history of money and what it really is. I remember in high school in Brazil, I went to the American high school in Rio, and I had like an economics course, and the teacher said, when we came to talk about money, she couldn't explain it. And I thought, that's strange. She said it's just money, interest rates are just, she couldn't explain it. I'm not sure she didn't know, but she wasn't taught either. So there you have it. So that's it for now. So Bitcoin, still, long term, a good cryptocurrency in my opinion. I still prefer gold and silver because I can hold it. But I think Bitcoin longer term is still going to do well. It's a bit like gold. You have to mine for it. You have to work for it. There's a limited supply. Gold and silver have started the year off fairly well. Yesterday we came off a little bit, but it still started the week well. Shrinkflation, I think, is going to continue, but there's going to come a point where companies are going to have to start raising prices, and then we could see, their employees, their workers say, oh, if you're raising prices, we want higher wages. And then, that's going to be inevitable. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it far and wide, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. If you'd like to donate to my channel, would be welcome. There's some links in the description below. I accept Bitcoin, BitGold. I've got a PayPal and a Patreon account. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.